Yeah. They didn't send me a windscreen. They sent me a box for a windscreen, though.
Get your windscreen for 815.
Yeah, I have one. Somewhere in the office. Color bars?
Yeah, shoot it. It's up to you.
Yesterday morning at 3 o'clock, two deputy sheriffs from Fulton County came and started banging on my door at home. Naturally, I was asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. It terrified me. I went downstairs because they kept banging and banging and they wouldn't go away. And I said, "What do you want? Who are you?" And they said, "Are you Pam Voeckler?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "But I'm not opening the door until I know who you are and what you want." So they said, "Well, we're from Fulton County." And they said, "Look out the window and you can see our police car." Well, I didn't want to look out the window. You know, I could have been paranoid and somebody could have shot me while I was looking out the window. So I did. I peeked out there, and sure enough, it was Fulton County Sheriff's car. Then I asked them if they had a warrant. And they said, yes, they did. I said, "What do you have a warrant for?" And they wouldn't tell me. So finally I opened the door because they got more and more hostile, and I was afraid they were going to kick my door in. I opened the door. I didn't have on much. I had on a fur coat, and so I had to go upstairs and get dressed. They did allow me to go upstairs and get dressed. I called my neighbors. They came from next door, and they kept the children. They said they had a warrant for my arrest for the unauthorized practice of law.
Well, what do you make of all this? Have you been practicing law without a license?
Absolutely not. I have been educating people as to the legal rights. That's all. I've written a book that saves them money, it saves them time, and it's a method that Sergeant Schreiber introduced 4 years ago called legal therapy. And it reduces people's tension by telling them what the law is and how to use it and not be abused by it. And the reason they're mad, the state bar, is mad at me is because I'm taking literally millions of dollars out of their pockets every year.
When people come to you for advice, do you charge them for it?
I do not give people advice. People can buy my book. If they want their divorce papers typed after they filled out the forms, I do it free. I do not take any money for any type of giving advice. I don't. I give legal education.
Do you try to explain what the book means when you talk to him?
I honestly do not remember. I have dealt with over possibly 1,000 people, and the book's been in all the bookstores. I don't know where the man got the book.
You see anything wrong with giving advice?
I don't see anything wrong with giving legal education. The problem with giving legal advice is that nobody knows what it is yet. I litigated it in federal court, or attempted to. I filed suit against the American Bar Association and the State Bar of Georgia with the specificness of the fact that the giving of legal advice is not specific enough to be able to make it, a law.
Do you think that the Bar Association is trying to get you?
Oh, they want me. I think they are definitely trying to get me in any way that they can.
Someone has said that if a publicity agent for your book had formulated the circumstances personally, that he could have not devised a better forum for you to sell your book. What do you say about that?
We'll be working on the case here in Georgia, and Melvin Belli, I talked to him on the phone at 11 o'clock yesterday morning, and he has consented to work in any way possible with my co-counsel and the team.
Well, if your attorneys in Georgia are so good, why do you need Melvin Belli?
Because for two reasons. Melvin Belli is an advocate, a staunch advocate of people's rights. And secondly, this very well could go into national implications, and at that point we would like to stand ready to have somebody on the West Coast.
What specifically would you like to test?
I would like to test the monopoly that lawyers have. It's ridiculous. Why to go and ask someone a question because the law books are written so difficultly that I can't understand it as a human being, and to love the law and follow the law if they don't even understand the law. People are sitting in these jails, and they shouldn't be in this jail. Is because they're poor, it's because they're uneducated, and because they're a minority.
Well,
stay there, madam, and continue talking for a moment.
yeah, let me just ask you, how much do you charge for this?
All right, the book was in the bookstore. It started out for $25, and I was selling it out of my house. That was the first edition. Put into the bookstores, whatever the people at the bookstore want. Okay, if people buy it from my home, it's $25, or if it's mail order, because I need the difference from handling. You know, it's people coming to my house. I have no big, you know, it's just me. It's just me. I'm trying to support my 2 children, and I don't make a lot of money. I can make a lot of money doing something else.
How did you have about how to write this? How did you research this?
32 years, being a child of divorce, being a parent's divorce is a bullet.
Normally, it would be paid for this book in a bookstore.
Well, because I have to answer the phone. You know, this is my house. To the consumer.
Come in your house, cause him to pay $25 when he won't.
People tramping in and out of your house at all hours of the day and night. People call me at 4 o'clock in the morning and say, "Oh, my old lady just hit me with a frying pan. What do I do?" You know.
Mr. Turner, how do you feel about going against your profession in general in a case like this?
Well, I think that Ms. Voeckler is correct in several aspects. Number one, no-fault divorces are a racket for attorneys, basically. It's just a simple matter of filling out the forms and charging a nice, healthy fee for it. Secondly, I think this case is a blatant example of political persecution. In a case like this, all they had to do was call her up and say there's a warrant outstanding for you, will you come down and pick it up and make bail? Instead, they go to her house in the middle of the night and arrest her. And the judge in Cobb County attempted to oppose a gag order in this case. And I think the whole thing was an attempt to override any press coverage of her arrest.
But how about you, going against the other members of your profession? Do you feel awkward about that?
I don't view it as going against the other members of my profession. What I'm doing is representing a client in a criminal matter. She's charged with an offense that could get her as much as 12 months in jail. And within that context, she's entitled to a defense, and the First Amendment, I think, will declare and mandate that she's not guilty of this. Any law secretary would be guilty of exactly what she's charged with if this is allowed to stand.
You don't see it's taking fees away from you should you prevail?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, no-fault divorces are just a small percentage of perhaps the total divorce picture. In child custody cases, in contested divorce cases, they still need an attorney. A no-fault divorce is a simple and painless thing that perhaps attorneys don't need to concern themselves with anyway.
Do you have any complaints about your treatment here at the Fulton Jail or the Cobb County Jail?
The people here at Fulton County were very nice. I have complaints about the 2 guys that picked me up, yes. They were rude, they scared me, they kept hollering at me, come on, they wouldn't even give me time really to get dressed. But while I was here at Fulton County, they were very nice. They gave me coffee, and they were really very nice.
How long did you actually spend here?
I was here from 3:30 until approximately 7 o'clock, at which point Cobb came and picked me up. It's probably a common practice at all. For the judge, I took the Miranda Act. Okay, we're going to bound it over to the Superior Court anyway. That's what Judge Haynes wanted. What can you say?
What do you think of individuals to do their own legal work?
Well, it's supposed to be that way when it comes to no-fault insurance claims also, but it doesn't work out that way as a practical matter.
You can tell that